Hi there. Welcome to Bible/Chat.
I'm gonna
Jason.
say it.
Come on. You're always a problem. Why are you always a problem? We could just have a nice Bible/Chat,
Maybe I should be
but
medicated.
Frankly,
You're like, I take that.
tranquilizer dart. Just teasing.
Put 'em down.
Anyway, so a quick question here. We obviously believe in local church,
Of course, absolutely.
leadership in the local church,
Yes.
the care of the local church, raising up guys internally
Yeah.
in the local church.
Yeah.
But we have someone right now who just recently started seminary, and we have some guys who have recently graduated
Yep.
seminary, and so we have people sort of in and out of seminaries. You and I both went to seminary. How do we think of seminary? Because it's not local church;
No.
it's outside the local church.
Right.
But then it seems to sort of function, and we are very strongly local church. But then we send people away or send them to another
Right.
person to be trained.
That's a good point.
How do we think through that? And
Yeah.
is seminary a biblical thing?
Oof.
And should we send men to seminary?
Is this going to be public?
Absolutely. Yep. We're passing this along to a
Facebook,
certain seminary
Twitter.
just up the road. No, just kidding.
I would say it's not unbiblical. It's not biblical in the sense that you can have a verse to find it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's
So
no
it's
text.
not anti-biblical
Yeah.
or unbiblical. I think, in just painting with broad brushstrokes here, it can be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, on the one hand, I think in this day and age, it's a necessity. I'm not saying it's a spiritual necessity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to have a degree, not that makes you a pastor, but it's helpful. It's just helpful for people in this culture, in this context. Look, if it's a neutral thing at worst,
Yeah.
you can go get a degree, not to certify that you're a pastor, but that you've got training in the languages and theology, things like that, and that other people have taught you. You're not just like this lone ranger.
Yeah.
I think that's helpful to have that certification, if you will.
Sure.
Just like you would get a regular degree. But that's where kind of the comparison between a purely secular degree and a MDiv, a Master's of Divinity, is different, because really the education and the degree a seminary does not make a pastor.
Yeah.
Only the Spirit makes a pastor or
Totally.
an elder. And the local church becomes the incubator and the place where the hive, where this analogy breaks down.
It did.
Where the baby bee
broke down.
It's breaking down right now. But where with a young pastor to be, an intern, whatever word you want to call it, the apprentice, if you will, is being trained in practical ministry and theology, but also trained in terms of character and being seen by elders and kept accountable. What's his marriage like? What's his family life like? How is he just as a man, as a person? So we would say seminary is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, not every seminary, but that aligns biblically. It's a good thing. We don't have problems sending people there, as long as I would say that seminarian is tethered and really tied to the local church and the local church leadership. And ideally, it's I think the nicest route is if the local church leadership sees a guy who seems to be not only showing that desire, but functioning pastorally, as a layperson who without any office or title or anything at all. And says, hey, maybe you should think about seminary.
Totally.
And they in unison sort of agree and send the man off. And so in that way, I would say seminary, yes, it's like parachurch. It can be bad, of course, but by and large, if they line up with us theologically, more or less, it can be a very good thing to have that kind of training, which a lot of local churches, just to be fair, would have a hard time doing. It would take so long. It'd just be
the resources are huge and
impractical.
Totally.
But I think the real training that's like more important than that happens at the local church, and I think that's where you can keep the guy going there and the church guarded from making seminary more important or more central than it should be. If that makes sense.
Totally, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, if you have a guy who wants to be a plumber, for example,
what do?
You give him all the tools to do plumbing, but he doesn't know how to use the tools. So you've got to put him on the field with other guys who know what they're doing, and then they're going to teach him how to use the tools to plumb. The same is true of seminary, in a sense. Like, we're just handing someone tools, and we're saying, like, now you have all the tools. You know Greek, you know Hebrew, you've taken theology classes, you've done the reading, all that's there. But now, how do you apply that to the local church and having that happen? You said apprentice. So,
no, that's exactly what it is. And they would even say at seminary, look, we don't make you a pastor. Like we can give you the resources and tools. Yeah. Good seminary. We can equip you with those things, and you have professors who can mentor you, and even quote unquote on the side or at office hours or through relationships. I think that's on par and sometimes even more important than the actual like Greek Hebrew theology. Yeah. Not that that's unimportant, but but just to hear from the man who's has experience, has wisdom, has had his trials and failures, and for you to learn from that is priceless. So as long as the local church is the sending arm and the place where that person is truly being apprenticed in character and practical ministry, I think seminary can serve a great function to come alongside and supplement what should already be taking place under the authority of the elders in the local church.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Yeah, you can do both as long as it's like cart before the horse. I think the local church is first, the priority is there, and then seminary is second, but still good, and I think necessary, if you will.
Totally.
So you don't have to go to seminary to become a pastor, like D. Martin Lloyd-Jones did, Charles Spurgeon. Then again, I'm naming people that are once in a millennia, but
geniuses.
It's like how many of us are Spurgeon, Lloyd-Jones, et cetera, right?
Yeah, it's a unique.
This many people.
Those are unique guys.
Yeah, so that happens. Yeah, and there's places like that are third world and others, of course, as you know, well. There's no seminary. Yeah. There's nothing.
Yeah, and in one sense, I think God in those places, the need is just not there. It's not quite the same.
It's different, right? And so, God raises up the guy. Yeah. He has a Bible. He's ready to go. Yeah. Supernaturally.
And still is being mentored, Usually they're still being mentored and being cared for. But not the need for like the robust, theological nuance stuff.
And accreditation and degrees is different.
That's a lot less.
Yeah.
For sure. That's super helpful. Yeah. So if you had a guy in your church, let's say their local church, soon to be, and the guy said, "Hey, I just enrolled in seminary classes."
Yeah.
What would you say to him?
I would say good. No, I think that's fine. I would again go back to, I guess I'm repeating myself in some ways, but that's great. But then I would want to know why he's going.
Yeah.
We would want to ascertain that. Yeah. Like if someone came into FBC just starting seminary, we wouldn't necessarily squash that desire. Yeah. We would want to fan it to flame if the Lord's behind it. We want to just know motivation. We want to know character. So that takes time. Yeah. That takes just seeing the person, observing, relating. That you can't. There's no shortcut to that. Totally. So I think a lot of that is just relationships and time and truth go hand in hand, right? So I wouldn't want to discourage that. Yeah. I would just want to help and like shepherd that and just make sure like, is the Lord in this? Yeah. Because if He is, then hey, I want to put more fuel to the fire instead of like quenching it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, super helpful. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's good advice. Very good. All right. Well, it was very good.
I know, but it's just
Why are you laughing?
You're like, it was good advice.
Good advice. I was thinking of the word. I was like, that was good. And then I'm like,
big, like magnificent.
Counsel. That's a little strong. Good was the word, the adjective I was looking for, but then the noun was like escaping me, like advice or counsel
Truth.
Or thoughts. Good monologue.
So what's the next podcast about? Pride.
No, I'm just kidding. You and pride, Jason. No, just you.
No.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, and hope that's helpful for you. And we'll see you next time.